the guy who brought it back in 2005, returned to the show and for some reason I can't understand, chose not to use the lessons he himself was using when he brought the show back the first time. This incarnation of the show was filled with lots of references to both the previous era of the show that it was needing rebooting from, but also the original show that ended in '89. And by all accounts, the show is now very close to death again. I really need to stop talking about the future. So the Christmas special has been cancelled, and the future of Doctor Who looks uncertain, shall we say. The BBC's statement on the issue is very vague on what the future holds. The only thing that's really clear in that is that they do believe there is a future, but there's no details other than Russell T Davies is gone now. I can't say I'm upset that Russell T Davies is gone. The Disney era had its moments, but it felt really chaotic and like there were a lot of behind-the-scenes problems that showed mainly in the last episode of Season 2, sorry. From the very beginning of this new era of the show, it felt like it was trying to just get the old band back together and assume everything will be fine because the old band's back together. Russell T Davies, Julie Gardner, Phil Collinson, Murray Gold, David Tennant, and Catherine Tate. Those are all names from the original run that Russell T Davies held, and he seems to have just thought, hey, we're back, the show is good by definition, and by definition, people will watch whatever I make. So let's make an episode that features talking babies as the season premiere. That'll work. The fact that I'm honestly just indifferent to Russell T Davies leaving is really frustrating to me. The thing that's really getting to me is that they didn't announce a plan. There is no new showrunner announced, which to me says there's no plan. They don't know what's going to happen. Which, announcing this without a plan it tells me a lot. And I find it really frustrating that all these shows I like are facing some really bad news right now. Last week, it was the new Stargate show that was cancelled. This week, it looks like Doctor Who has been all but cancelled. And I have no idea what's going to happen next week, but I'm sure something else I like will be cancelled. I really want that comment to not age well. Please have that comment age badly and have nothing happen next week. I can't deal with this. Speaking of the Stargate show, it is really fascinating seeing the differences between the Stargate fandom and the Doctor Who fandom, where you have the Stargate fans who, upon hearing that Amazon is worried that the only people coming to the show would be already existing Stargate fans, and those fans are like, I've seen so many Reddit posts of people going, I don't care, make it, we'll tell people ourselves, and not understanding, you need to bring in numbers. And then you have Doctor Who fans who are cheering the exit of Russell T Davies, and some of them are even aware that this leaves the show in a very precarious position. In fact, actually, most of the people I've seen talk about it are very doom and gloom and recognizing that, and I'm contributing to that now, but I talked about it earlier this week and I feel the desire to follow up. Now, this whole thing is going to leave Doctor Who very close to being done for a long time, possibly permanently. And as we saw with Stargate last week, as I mentioned, a show's return is never guaranteed. The Stargate show was announced in November, and it was canceled a week ago, like I said. I'm just very sad that Doctor Who seems like it's not going to be able to end with the kind of dignity that it did in 1989. What's sad is that if the old rumors from years ago are right, we almost had that happen. Apparently, originally, the power of the Doctor was going to end on a somewhat similar note as Survival in '89. That episode almost ended with a cut to black without seeing who the 13th Doctor was regenerating into, which honestly would have been a great ending. I'd be upset it ended there, but at least there was an ending, and not just inserting Billie Piper's face, and then a year later, canceling the Christmas special, and clearly not having a plan. And I'll just say, I wish I had hope of it coming back at this point. But I really don't. At least not for a long time. I do fear that we have now entered a second wilderness years, but I really want to be wrong about this. Please let me be wrong about this.